Two countries at war, two leaders the focus of the world's attention. On one side is Vladimir Putin. He's the Russian president and is leading the invasion on neighbouring Ukraine, which experts say has breached human rights and the Geneva Convention, which is a set of rules all about armed conflict. He's been heavily criticised all over the world. On the other side of the border, Volodymyr Zelensky is the Ukrainian president who refuses to back down to Putin and is defending his country on the front line, desperate for the war to end and for peace in his country. Vladimir Putin is president of Russia, the ruling position in what is the largest country in the world. He has ruled Russia for 22 years, but how did he get there? Mr. Putin grew up in a city known now as St. Petersburg. He was born in 1952 and is now 69. He didn't come from a rich background and his childhood was quite tough. He's known to have been in lots of fights as a kid. He took up judo, a sport which he still enjoys. As a young man, Mr. Putin was a spy for the Soviet Union, a group of countries dominated by Russia and including Ukraine. He and his family moved to Moscow in 1996 and he quickly became an important political figure. By 1999 he had come to power as acting prime minister and later that year he was made president. Since then, Mr. Putin has always been in power. President, Prime Minister and now President again, and he's changed rules in that time to keep himself in power. He's a controversial figure in Russia and around the world. He wants to be known as a strong popular leader, and some do know him as that. Others though say that he doesn't run the country in an honest way, that he's like a dictator ruling Russia by force, taking away people's freedoms, imprisoning opponents like Alexei Navalny, and giving too much power to himself and a small number of very wealthy people. He used government money to pay for his own palace. Opinion polls reported by Russian media suggest he is still popular with many people, but others say this media can't be trusted and the majority in Russia actually don't like him. He said he felt humiliated when the Soviet Union broke up 30 years ago and still says he's ashamed of this. As president, he wants to make Russia a world power. But while he may believe this war will make him look powerful and decisive, if it doesn't go the way he expects, it could be dangerous for him, with many people already believing he's been in power far too long. President Volodymyr Zelensky rose to power in a much different way. Politics wasn't his career until 2019. He was actually a comedian and actor. Mr. Zelensky was born in the central Ukraine city of Kryvyi Rih in 1978. When he was born, Ukraine was still part of the Soviet Union and he's actually a native Russian speaker. He is Jewish and has rejected Russian claims of fascism, saying, "How can I be a Nazi?" with some of his family members dying in the Holocaust. He graduated from Kyiv National Economic University with a law degree, but he soon chose to follow a career in entertainment as a comedian and actor. He went on to be the voice of Paddington Bear when the popular film was released in Ukraine, and he also won their version of Dancing with the Stars. In 2015, he appeared in his biggest role to date in the Ukrainian TV series Servant of the People. He played an anti-corruption school teacher who became the president of the country. The TV show became incredibly popular at the time when Ukraine was suffering from a big corruption problem itself. In 2018, the now 44-year-old followed in the footsteps of his character and announced he'd run for president as an anti-corruption candidate. It was seen as a joke at first, but in April of the following year, he was elected with a landslide 73% of the vote. Recently, as Russia invaded, the ability of a former actor to defend the country was questioned, but his decision to remain in the capital while it's under attack has inspired Ukrainians and many around the world. Mr. Zelensky says he will never back down. Vladimir in Russia and Volodymyr in Ukraine, two versions of the same name from two countries with an intertwined history. Vladimir Putin wants their future to be as one country, while Volodymyr Zelensky wants an independent future for Ukraine with a greater relationship with the West. The outcome of this war will decide what that future holds.